Afternoon, folks. How's it going? What a fucking mad 3 months we've had here. It's been fucking mental. It seems like only yesterday we were windmilling on people to get toilet roll in fucking Target, and it's just gone fucking bonkers. The thing I want to talk about today was the rank hypocrisy of Jack Dorsey. Jack fucking Doorstop. Like, I've talked about him before. I cannot believe he says the shit he comes out with a straight face. Like, I honestly can't. We've all been there, haven't we? I think as a normal man who considers himself to, at least try to be moral, we've all told a lie. Sometimes the main reason you lie is because it makes your life easier. I'm not talking about, like, committing fraud. Like, that's a big lie. We all do the little lies, don't we? Your missus says, does my bum look big in this? And you go, no, it looks good. Even though it looks like a fucking bin liner full of coleslaw. We all tell white lies to make our lives easier. And my missus isn't a fat knacker, by the way. That was just a hypothetical example. But barefaced lies, I don't do. Barefaced lies, I think, if you've got any, like, moral... If you want to look at yourself in the mirror when you're having a shave and think, the person looking back at me is not a piece of fucking shit, I think you should try not to be a fucking lying bastard. Wankers arguing politics in cyberspace, they're always fucking PMing me, you're a fucking liar. I don't tell fucking lies. It doesn't happen. I'm assuming everyone with a brain is going to fact check you when you're talking shit on Quora or Facebook or Twitter. Again, wankers like Sarah Parkak here, I'm about to dissect. They do it all the time because they haven't got any moral fibre whatsoever. It's whatever makes them popular and cool. They will say it. But I don't tell fucking lies. And barefaced lies say a lot about you. If you're the type of person who's willing to, go to an old lady's house and say, hello, love, I'm from the gas board, when you're not, you're a jippo who's going to fucking rob their biscuit tin full of money from the kitchen the second the back's turned. You're a fucking cunt. There's a big difference between a white lie and a proper barefaced lie. And Jack fucking Doorstop. First he said that they weren't biased at all. Then after endless pressing, he admits, okay, we have a little bit of a left-leaning bias. Then he goes on Rogan's podcast and says, no, I'm deaf. We don't have any bias. No, we're 100% down the middle. He is a barefaced, shameless fucking liar. So I think that says a lot about a person. Not just that he's a jug-eared sexual deviant or any of the other stuff that people know about him or that's come out with a strangely square fucking head. But he's seriously, like, if you can lie as blatantly as he does, I think there's something wrong with you. Like, he should be in politics. He's obviously one of these narcissistic billionaire fucking maniacs. But I wanted to bring the attention to it because of how much a shit show Twitter's been since this fucking riots have started kicking off. He says here, Jack Doorstop said his company considers behaviour, not ideology, in deciding whether to suspend them. Right? That's what he said time and time and time again. And then Trump, when he made this statement, fucking Guardian, whenever you're trying to look for a source with Trump, he always takes you to the Guardian because that's all they're fucking right about. Fucking balmy cunts. Well, that and vegan diets and tofu and not being able to open jam jars because, remember this, my favourite one? I stopped going to the gym because of Trump. Now I can't open jars. That's a real Guardian headline. I have covered this. I think I did it last year. And yeah, she's a fucking nutter. And such a stereotypical lefty activist because she's one of these everywheres. Somewheres and everywheres. Working class people are somewheres. They're usually rooted to a place and they can't, like, go anywhere else. Middle class arseholes and activists are anywheres and they've always been all over the fucking place. And if you Google Bridget Delaney, you just get this mad fucking... Her CV's ridiculous and it's like, all the shit you'd expect from a Guardian columnist. Like, first she studied in Paris, then she spent 2 years in Rome, then she went to Strasbourg, then she was in Canada, then she was in Sydney, then London, then it's like, yeah, fuck off. Like, you don't give a fuck, do you? Because nothing ever affects you. Just another upper class twat with an expensive education and a fucking head full of cow shit. Anyway, went off on a tangent. So Twitter had two of Trump's tweets. The fact checked his fucking last tweet, which I covered in a video a couple of days ago, because he said massive amounts of postal votes always leads to voter fraud, and then I proved it via the medium of over 1,000 convictions, that it's a 100% verifiable fact. And Twitter said, no, that's not true, that. It is. And then this one, basically all he said was, if they don't bring the rioters under control, we will send in the National Guard to get the job done. And they fucking said it, tweeted, they said it broke the rules about glorifying violence. Like, which on the face of it, again, is absurd. Like, you have to be so ideologically blind to not see that this is fucking nonsense. I don't understand what people are thinking. Like, if you can read the English language and you're not fucking crazy. Like, even, let's say, like Obama, right? He's clearly not an unintelligent man, and he's not fucking mental, and he can speak English. Let's be honest, he can speak English better than Trump, because one of my criticisms of him is basically he sounds like me. I don't think I'm qualified to be the president, because I'm not elegant and articulate enough, and I don't think he is. But Obama, he can give a good speech, or he can read a teleprompter well. Either way, he's decent at it. If he was to sit and read that, which is basically 3 sentences that says, get the fucking riots under control or I'll get the National Guard to do it. And they put a marker under it and said, this glorifies violence. Like, seriously, if you were to say to Barack Obama, read that tweet, does it glorify violence? Simply by the structure of the sentences and the words used, you have to say, no, it doesn't. It doesn't say, violence is fucking great, let's have some. Or I can't wait for the National Guard to ventilate the cunts rioting. Nothing like that. He just said, get a grip of the rioters or I'll send in the National Guard to do it. And they put these bullshit things about glorifying violence, right? So he got a fucking mark against that, which, if you can read English, is not glorifying violence. And Sarah Parkak here, unbelievably, right, a typical blue checkmark, all the blue checkmarks on Twitter, they can just do what they fucking like, can't they? Has made like a lengthy, how many? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 posts, right? And a diagram. And I know we, just as an aside, I know we mock academia nowadays because we say, like, clearly they're not clever. These people that are in fucking universities brainwashing kids, they're not clever. You have a conversation with one of these people and you just think, this cunt's not very bright, like, not very good with general knowledge, not very streetwise, not very self-aware. They're just hyper-trained in one very, very narrow aperture of academia, and that's all they know about. Look at the clip of that fucking schematic. Like, she can barely fucking write. There's US Marines could do better ones with crayons than fucking she's done there. This university-educated academic. Fuck me. Looks like a retarded child's fucking drew it. It's a finger-painted schematic. Anyway, so she's done like 15 posts here, basically telling someone from A to Z how to pull down monuments. Like, this is how you destroy ancient statues and monuments. And nothing about glorifying violence from Twitter here. It says, if anyone who might be interested in how to pull down an obelisk safely, what's good about that? Like, you would think Egyptologists and archaeologists and everyone is against iconoclasty. Like, is there anything worse and more barbarian-esque than destroying fucking ancient monuments? Like, what is she trying out for fucking ISIS? Anyways, on she goes. The key to pulling one down is letting gravity do the work for you. Use chains, not rope, and extend them around the top. For every 10 foot of monument, you need 40 plus people. Therefore, a 20-foot tall monument requires 60. Probably want 150 feet of rope. You have 2 groups. I recommend a rhythmic song with someone with a loudspeaker directing. Have a practice. Blah, blah, blah. Watch that sumbitch topple. Then celebrate because Black Lives Matter. And good riddance to any obelisks pretending to be ancient Egyptian obelisks when they are in fact celebrating racism and white nationalism. And apparently, Sarah Parkak writes like a fucking 8-year-old Down syndrome. That's fine. That's not in any way glorifying violence. And this necky, jug-eared fucking oxygen thief dares sit there with a straight face with 3 million people watching him and say, nah, we're not buyers. Of course we aren't. I'm as honest as the day's long. I wouldn't buy a used car off the fucking cunt anyway. There's the story anyway where I found it on. I'll put that in the links. Alabama professor gives rioters a tutorial on how to destroy monuments. But saying you'll use the mechanisms of the state to stop looters and rioters burning and murdering is that's promoting and glorifying violence. You have to be fucking mental to read this shit and not get angry. Why do you think I'm always in a fucking bad mood? They have ruined my famously sunny disposition with their endless fucking bullshit. I blame the French, as always. The point is, it's transparently obvious that this entire thing is purely about regime change. Like, the British are so not racist that when this guy chopped off a young soldier's fucking head with a meat cleaver, he didn't get killed by the armed response. He got arrested and saw the inside of a courtroom like you're supposed to. That's how unracist the UK is. The UK is so unracist that when blokes like this, or this, spent 30 years raping little white girls, nobody did anything about it. That's how unracist the British police are. So don't tell me it's about racism. It's purely about politics. If it's not this, it's climate change. If it's not climate change, it's fucking social housing. If it's not social housing, it's fucking the patriarchy. The cis-het capitalist patriarchy. Like, it's not about police brutality in America. It's about you can't win an election, so you want to fucking change the regimes without having to bother with the election part. It's blatantly fucking obvious. And again, this is why they don't have broad brush support, because everybody knows it. You can't sit through decades of watching that happen and people reporting it to the police and no one doing anything about it. And then because there's a death in a foreign country, expect normal run-of-the-mill working class people of both sides of the political aisle to think it's reasonable to say the British police are like institutionally racist and evil. Like, all they do is fucking pander to these people. Like, whenever any activist goes mental, I've seen them all kneeling for them today. Where was that? Yeah, look at that. Some police officers outside Downing Street are now kneeling in response to the crowd calling for them to take the knee. Look at that. And they're always wearing the pride flags, aren't they? Like, none of these people sincerely believe that the British police are now an institutionally racist, thuggish, violent organisation. And they're in for a short, sharp shock, because the general public, like I said, centre-left as well, they do not support hauling British police over the coals, because they don't fucking deserve it. We all take the piss out of them for being too soft. It's not the other way, is it? So yeah, bollocks. It's all bollocks. Everybody knows it. It's pure political theatre. They want Trump out. They want Boris Johnson out. They can't win any elections, so they're going to do it any fucking way necessary. And I think this type of shit's going to help them achieve it. It isn't. Look at this silly cunt. When I pointed out, yeah, these are the same police that let brown men rape kids for 30 years and did nothing about it. Of course they're kneeling. And he said, they also let incredibly rich white men do it too. Or is that all right? Like, almost doesn't bear a response, but I do like an argument. I said, it's whataboutism, but it proves my point, doesn't it? Because if they let both groups get away with it, then they're definitely egalitarian, aren't they? But actually, you have to be rich to be ignored when you're a white guy, when you're a white nonce. They get away with it when they're taxi drivers, so checkmate, communist. And he says, don't worry, there won't be any rich people when we've got communism. Yeah, proving my point there, Jay, you fucking idiot. I've had a few submissions for the shite you see on the BBC this week, and I'll be sure to get it done on Sunday, so check it out, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Cheers.